Actually, before I forget, the recent conversation. So there you go. That's one thing the game designers of this game definitely did right, was the sound. I've read that the sound team actually created some code so that the sounds naturally were variations unto one another, so it didn't seem like a cookie cutter manufactured sound each time. Like there was kind of a live sense to it. I don't know how to explain it at the moment, but I think you get what I mean. Just all to add to the more immersive experience.
Can you describe what you can only see? As the bonds of flesh are broken, the world becomes apparent.
You know, when Clive Barker joined the team, because even though this game is called Clive Barker's Undying, he actually joined later on, and his actual contribution is comparatively small. I'm not saying it wasn't influential, because the biggest thing he did was to influence the creation of the main character. He's actually quoted as saying something along the lines of come up with a guy I'd like to sleep with. Yeah, I'll just let that one sink in. Anyway, when he joined the team though, and after they showed him what they had, he noted that the game was an interesting mix of more of a classic romantic style of horror and a Lovecraftian style of horror. It was a curious blend of it. And by romantic, I don't mean kind of the lovey-dovey sense. I mean kind of the artistic and intellectual movement. Jesus. Anyway, to get that thought kind of out of my head, the reason why I was reminded of that is because the whole head-twisting thing and what he said. Because, after all, in the Lovecraftian mindset, human beings are very finite beings in an ever-expanding universe. After all, we only have 5 senses, right? Anyway, this point in the game is what has, this is what makes her... breaks it for a lot of people, because as you saw, when I get hit, my view jerked quite a bit, and some people view that as a major hindrance and annoyance rather than a challenge or a message from the game developers to, hey, don't get hit. That paired with how this pistol is almost needlepoint accurate, and the bullets have travel time and they ricochet. I don't see where the bullet hole went, but you saw how it skipped twice. It makes for some getting used to say the very least. That, and actually for 2001, the Critters had some pretty good hitboxes. It's quite easy to miss them. Shoot. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to swear so much during this playthrough. By the way, I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, but I am playing on Nightmare difficulty. This game, for purely nostalgic reasons. I mean, part of it is because my brother-in-law actually gave this game to me as a birthday gift. And my first playthrough, I don't think I even bothered reading any of the journal entries. But the more I played, the more enamored I became, and so I pretty much immediately played it through again. And I made sure to read through every journal entry and try to get as much as I can, etc., etc. But I have this ritual almost that once a year I pretty much get the itch to play through Undying yet again. And this time I decided to do a playthrough, so here we are. Okay, now these things, you heard that noise before, they're quite important. Finding these things is kind of like finding the very last Skittle and the bottom of a bag of Skittles that you previously thought was empty. So it's pretty glorious. Using our Clunkson Heretic or Hexen style inventory, you can select it, and then it's an amplifier, and essentially it increases your spell level permanently. I'm not going to use it on Scry. I'm going to wait till I get more spells. Another cutscene.
Those beasts were after me.
What in God's name were those things?
They're called howlers. And while I've never seen one before tonight, I've heard of them for years.
Those weren't natural, my friend. We're fighting more than superstitions here.
Perhaps I was being naive not to tell you, but there might be something more sinister at work here. When I was a boy, I encountered something I can't quite explain. You see, there was this isle of standing stones that sits just off the estate. Someone had carved a sigil into each of the stones, something indiscernible. Father had many books on the occult, one of which contained a sketch of that very symbol. I took my brothers and sisters out to the island and read from my father's book.
Well, what happened?
Something answered. The ocean began to boil, and a great wind whipped against us as we stood in the circle, and my siblings huddled to the ground in fear. Eventually, the wind died, and the sea settled. Patrick, I know it sounds like the ravings of a dying man, but I believe those standing stones had something to do with this. What has once been a taint upon this family has now begun to manifest itself.
But you told me you're dying. Doesn't this curse end with you?
Who knows? My brothers and sisters are dead, but I don't think they're really gone. I've heard some servants whispering. They think they've seen Lisbeth on the estate. My family has come for me. I sense them, Patrick. By now, you and I know the supernatural exists. You saw the Howlers. And what about our encounters with the Tersante during the war? You still even carry the Gelzebar stone with you.
It's a token of the shaman's life I took. That's all.
I found a scroll with a picture of the Gelzebar on it. I believe it contains the way to awaken the stone's dormant power.
Very well. Let me study this scroll overnight, and I'll see what I can do in the morning.
This house still hides many secrets. I'm counting on you to reveal them and put an end to this mess.
There's our first acquired spell. Ectoplasm, which is just kind of a basic magic missile attack. Not very accurate, doesn't do much damage, but by God do you love it in a fight, especially when you only have a 6-shot revolver.